Good afternoon, Bronx Arts Middle. It's Mr. Naruski on Sunday, April 5th. I hope you guys had a nice weekend, got some sun like I did, had a chance to do some things that you like to under social isolation to the best of your ability. We are starting week number 4 in distant learning. We're seeing some really, really consistent growth. A lot of students are showing um, increased attitude and attention to their work. So keep it up this week. For this week, it's really simple. There are two things that we have the chance to do. And we'll talk about literally the number one responsibility. On Google Classroom, you will see our project, and this wraps up our unit for the Industrial Revolution. If you could take a look at our dates, we've looked at this now for 2 weeks. The Industrial Revolution comes to the end this week. So, what's our project look like? We are creating a presentation describing each of the 4 stages of the Industrial Revolution. So, in order to do that, I'm going to open up my project, and you're going to get an example of this. You cannot edit on this. You cannot make additions. Please don't ask me for the request. This is literally just for you to read. It gives you the guidelines. It gives you the expectations for what the project includes. So let's go through some things. Your task is to create a presentation describing each of the 4 stages of the Industrial Revolution. Use the Google Slide template to help organize information and ideas. So Google Slides is where all your information will go, and that's what your project is going to be based on. Read the information below and on the following pages. So everything on here is critical. This is where you are starting your information, your research. Please read everything on this in order to help you get really prepared and really successful. You will also need to use research information on the internet. So you're going to have to kind of extend this beyond just what you have in front of you. Let's look at the 4 stages of the Industrial Revolution. We've been covering that word Industrial Revolution, a change in the way society functions. We replace hand tools with machines doing most of the work. Well, that Industrial Revolution is referred to as the first stage. The first stage. It is powered mostly by the steam engine. And from the 1700s to the 1800s, this is the first Industrial Revolution. And think of this like a timeline. The Industrial Revolution kind of has like these changes in each of these stages. And as the years have kind of progressed, these changes have made society incredibly different from what it used to be. So all we covered in 7th grade is the steam engine revolution, the Industrial Revolution during that first era or that first stage, that time period. Next year in 8th grade, you're going to look at the electric revolution, the second stage where electricity is invented and it changes the entire game again, how things are made, how fast they're made. And that goes from the 1800s to the 1900s. Your project is going to include you doing some research on this stage as well. We fast forward to the 1960s and a third stage, a new wave, a new era. And this third stage of the Industrial Revolution is all about computing, computers, internet. It's all digital, and that starts in the 1960s and it continues until about the 2000s, the third stage of the Industrial Revolution, how things are now really, really starting to revolutionize and change dramatically. Which leads us to the last stage, the 4th stage. It is all about intelligence. And intelligence happens to do with like cyber physical systems. Think of robotics, think of AI, think of smart factories replacing humans. All these things are now done by the computer age. So the more intelligence you have, the more information you have, the more that you can make better choices with what you produce. So we are currently in the 4th stage, the intelligence stage of the Industrial Revolution. And that is literally a quick summary of all 4. Think of them like a timeline, and things have changed over an extensive amount of time. Your project asks you to make one slide for each of the four stages of the Industrial Revolution. So stage one, stage two, stage three, stage four. You need a slide for all four of those, one for each. For each slide, include the following. Start out with summarizing the stage. What was the era all about? Put this into your own words. A summary should be longer than one sentence. Summarize this stage. What's the era? What's the time period all about in your words? Second thing, explain two. Two effects. Man, we've been talking about that word a lot last week. Effects are changes, big time changes. What were the changes that took place in that stage? What happened to society because of these changes? And you could even answer this question. How was this stage different than previous stages? Think about effects, long-term changes. How has life changed because of the Industrial Revolution? And the last thing, number three, add three. Add three inventions that were created during that stage. You might know some of those information or some of those inventions based on the reading that you do. You might know some of those inventions because we covered them in class, but you need three inventions for each of the stages, and you could include pictures for each of those inventions. Last but not least, your final requirement is a works cited page. Where are you getting your information from? List your sources of information. So all that research that you do, the internet, you need three sites to have on your project in order to get full credit. We're not using Wikipedia. We're not using things to plagiarize. If you're going to use research, you have to put it into your own words. You need to use that and add it in there. Think about some of the strong sites that we've been using throughout the year. Those are things to help you. Remember, because this is a project, it's a summative assessment. It is ranked extremely high, and it's something for you to do over the next few days in class. This is your big priority. It is your project. It is your number one responsibility. This is going to give you the entire week to get done. So you'll see the dates from Monday, April 6th to Friday, April 10th. And it is due Friday at 4 o'clock. If you turn it in early and ask for feedback, you might get that feedback. It might be a good thing to kind of pace out your week to make sure that you're covering all these things. We will not have any Google Meets. So this is the most important video of the week. It is the only video of the week. If you need anything else, you need to reach out to me. I said we have two expectations this week. Your project is your first expectation. It is huge. It is a large portion of your third quarter grade. And then your second thing is any makeup work. At this point, we've had a number of Google Classroom assignments. Look at all these classroom assignments all the way from March 17th. Any of these assignments that you see a 0 or you see a score that you don't like, maybe a 55 or a 70, or you see the word missing next to it, if you see that on this, you could re-edit and submit your work for a higher grade. This is the week for you to make up the work, because when Friday comes and 4 o'clock comes around, all of these assignments that you see will be uploaded to PowerSchool, and whatever grade is there is the final grade that you will have. If you have things that are missing, those become zeros. You will have no opportunity to go back after Friday. So this is your makeup week. It is an incredibly important week for you. I can't stress enough how many scholars have really shined through distant learning. If you've been struggling, please reach out to your teacher. Maybe reach out to some of your classmates to help you kind of get the ball rolling or ask for feedback. There's some great students that are performing way beyond expectations. Keep it going. This might be a little bit more of a quieter week for you. That's a good thing. That means that you've been working really, really hard. So get your work done and then enjoy a couple days to relax and do some things that you enjoy a little bit more. Have a great week. If you guys need anything, please reach out. And other than that, stay safe. We'll see you soon.